Rise and join me in the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On our agenda, we have the swearing in of the two individuals, Philip Zellmer and Richard York, but they're not joining us this evening, so we will move on to item number 4, which is the adoption of the agenda consent agenda as an order of business with identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action. Can I receive a motion to accept consent agenda? Moved and seconded. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, moving on. We now need to consider for approval of the consent agenda. Approve the minutes from March 16th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Approve financial report for the period of July 1, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. And approve bills for the period of March 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2021 in the amount of $2,375,711.34. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board and district leadership team strategic planning, legislative update. Mr. Mellon.
All right, thank you. Yes, we met with our legislators this week on Monday as a group of superintendents and other people from the school districts. And the topics of discussion at this time of year generally start to move towards state budgeting, and that's where they were for a majority of our meeting. Our legislators talked quite a bit and with some level of confidence about having a budget wrapped up, their proposal wrapped up and in good shape as they see it by June. And they hoped to be done then with being able to have it to the governor and have some discussion and maybe be finding the consensus that they're hoping to find by July. So if that were to be the case, that would be one of the earlier ones.
It'd be unusual.
Very, very unusual, yep. So they're moving in that direction. They did mention that they're having debates with the governor about oversight. You probably have seen a little bit of that in the news for the CARES Act funding and that type of information. They're trying to find common ground, and I think everybody is trying to find some common ground among the different proposals. One of those is broadband. They both want to have increased levels of broadband throughout the state and quicker, better access to broadband. And it's just a matter of you say 500 million, we say 600 million, or something along those lines. So they're negotiating, and so happy to find some levels of togetherness there. They wanted to make sure that we were aware, which we are, that both houses passed the teaching about Holocaust and genocide through history as a state statute. So our policy, our Neola policies will adjust to that, and there will be something from Neola related to the responsibility of school districts to teach about those things coming up in the future. And just as a side note, most places already do. We do in relation to just in our history classes and things like that, and current events when something like that is going on. So I think this is legislation addressing places maybe that didn't in the past, or that type of thing. And then another thing is that they're looking to streamline through the CARES Act and some of the money that they have control over, grants to tourism, small business, ag, and long-term care. So it's not necessarily a topic directly related to education, but, you know, elder care is a big issue, and so those types of grants sometimes do have an impact on families all over the place. We're taking care of older loved ones and have kids at home. It does put strains on everything. So they mentioned that as well, and that was about those were the highlights of our conversation.
Great. Thank you, Dan.
They brought up the American Rescue Plan Act at all, what they foresee for schools. It's big right now for municipality and villages, cities, counties, state.
We didn't talk about that in our meeting.
Anyone else for Dan? No? Thank you. Academic Pillar of Excellence, consider the approval of proposed revisions to the adoption of the 2021-2022 elementary school student and parent handbook. And tonight we have Nick O'Malley.
Good evening. There are two changes of note to the elementary handbooks this year. The first one deals with Friday folders, and Friday folders, for years students all had a folder, and there was a go back and forth between teacher and home. And on Fridays they'd often be stuffed with many notices of events in the community and things like that. And this year and moving forward, we are gone paperless. So our new portion in the handbook will say, the Plymouth School District manages online Friday folders to provide families with important school information and notices. Also included in Friday folders is information from school-related groups and nonprofit organizations in our community. So that's the first. And the second change is related to crossing guards. This past school year and next school year, but we didn't have crossing guards, as student crossing guards this year. We do have some adult crossing guards. But as far as student crossing guards, we did not have any this year, and we will not next year. So the portion in the handbook that talks about how to become a crossing guard will be removed.
Why is that, Nick?
Why not having crossing guards is that, well, the crossing guard program is a Plymouth Police Department program, and we help them with their program and unite to make it happen. The Plymouth Police Department chose not to do it this year, and there were some multiple reasons involved in that decision. And then I recently spoke with them again. They do not plan to have the program next year as well.
And Nick, just going back to the paperless Friday folder, that's a big change, really. I mean, the Friday folder going away. So is there any concern about access by going paperless?
Well, you know, at the elementary level, we have electronic communication with every parent, and if there's a parent that's struggling with that, teachers and our building secretaries really know and find that out and get them the information they need if they think there's a risk that they would be getting internet-based communications.
Okay. So if a family or a parent had a concern about not getting the information, they could just talk to the school office?
Yes, and through our, after the shutdown last year, the online learning experience, any families with internet access issues, we were directly addressed and worked closely with those families. So we have pretty good tabs. We know our families pretty well and have pretty good tabs, and pretty certain everybody has access. Right now I can confidently say that all Fairview families have access to the internet right now, and if something changes, we hope they give us a call and let us know so we can help out and change it up.
All right, great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Has there been any concern with any of the parents about not having crossing guards?
No, there were, after speaking with the Plymouth Police Department recently, there were zero safety concerns or issues that came up across the entire year this year from not having crossing guards.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, for this, do we just...
No, you don't need to.
We don't need any motion or anything?
No.
Just say thanks. And
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, now we need an update on improving college credit access for Plymouth schools, high school students. Dina.
Thanks. So in front of you, I shared a little graphic that talks about some of the different career and college course options that Plymouth High School students have. And Joe Brandel, the high school principal, myself, and the high school counselors have been working together to sort of map this out and help to market it to our students and help them truly understand. The counselors do a great job of that when they work with their kids, when they do their portfolios and their different meetings with them. But I thought it'd be interesting, Dan and I did, to share with you the different pathways that our students have. So some of them cross over with each other a little bit, but I'll just walk through and share these different opportunities. And these go along, again, the career part I think is very important to point out. It's not just college credits, but students can actually get certifications that would make them career ready leaving high school. So starting on the top is the white section in each of these is the acronym typically of the program, and then how many kids we currently have enrolled in that program. So the first one was Wisconsin Virtual School, and this is an online class. Typically, kids only get high school credit, though there are some scenarios that they do get maybe an LTC or a tech school credit, or an AP class where they can get an exam, and I'll explain that later. So there are a few different variables there, but overall, it's online and high school credit, and that is something that the district pays for. So cost is a factor in many of these. Some falls on the school, some falls on the family, some falls on the state. The next one is our AP courses, and as you can see, we have 157 students this year that have participated in AP courses, and AP stands for Advanced Placement. The beauty of an AP course is that students can take a college-paced course in-house in high school with a high school teacher, and then they have the option of taking the exam at the end. They don't have to take the exam, so they definitely get their high school credit. If they opt to take the exam, they pay for that exam. And if they score typically a 4 or 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, if they score a 4 or a 5, most colleges will consider that as college credit for the course. Some colleges will even accept a 3 as college credit eligible. So that really is no cost for us. Our high school teachers have to go through some coursework themselves to qualify to teach those. But overall, it's a great opportunity for our students to work at that college pace level. Then we have our dual credit or CAP classes, and CAP stands for Cooperative Academic Partnership Programs, which means we work with a university such as University of Green Bay, Oshkosh, or Lakeland. They work with our teachers and get them certified to teach these classes in-house. And then students concurrently can get a high school and college credit. So you can see that number is really large. I think it might, that's a misprint. I believe it's 69. So that shouldn't be that big. But we do have a lot of kids in classes that are taking these classes and have that opportunity. They are responsible for paying for that course. Some of them, depending on the class, if they're LTC, then they have no fee.
How is this different from the AP?
So AP, you have to take the exam to get the credit.
Right.
And it is not necessarily affiliated with a specific college. These classes, these CAP classes, are affiliated with a specific college.
Okay.
So our advanced biology class is through UW Oshkosh. So you would get the credits from that college. When it comes to the AP, when you go to that college, they'll determine whether or not they'll take your AP test score and say, yes, we'll give you credit for this math class in our university.
And you think this number is 69?
I'll double check. I have a
669.
spreadsheet, but it's large.
I'm just thinking, Dina, it could be that number because
It could
one
be.
child can take 4 classes, for example. They might
Yeah,
be
you know
in-
what? I have a feeling that is right. When I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know, but
Right.
I had a spreadsheet, the teachers plugged it in, so that probably is accurate.
Doesn't take too many kids taking multiple
Yeah.
classes to get.
What's an example of one of those classes?
I have a whole list. So we have psychology through Lakeland College. Let's see, advanced chemistry. We have macro and microeconomics, and those are college, the university. Then we also have classes through LTC. So that might include Accounting 1, business law. We have some of our welding classes that they would receive, technical college credits at that same time. So there's a pretty long list. And those can all be found in the academic career planning guide on the high school website. You can go through and you can see all of these courses listed. Then we move down to the ECCP, which is the Early College Credit Program. That is new within the last few years. It used to be called Youth Options. So with that, of course, comes new stipulations and expectations. So with this one, as you see, the number is 0. There's a lot of different requirements to apply for these classes. We do, I believe, have one as of now for this summer, and maybe 1 or 2 for next fall. But with these, there's, like I said, the requirements come into play. So kids fill out this application, and it can be from many of the different universities, the state universities, tribal schools, as well as private universities. So there's different schools they can pull from. Kids can look and say, I'm really interested in this course. So there's a few things that my job is to look at with the counselors is we have to say, are there any comparable courses that you could take at PHS? So for instance, if somebody applied to take a psychology class at Madison, we have an in-house psychology class from Lakeland. So first we would say, you need to take this class in-house. If you really want to take that one at Madison, then you have to pay for that yourself. You can still go through this program, but you'd have to do it on your own spending. Then we look at if it's a graduation requirement. For the most part, most classes that kids would take at the higher level, we could probably fit into an elective or with one of our areas, but there might be a situation when it doesn't align with our graduation requirements, and then comes in a different scenario of how it's paid. And then when there's no comparables. So a student signs up, maybe it's a women's histories class, and they sign up for that. We don't have any classes that would be even comparable to that. That would be something that would be accepted, and then the student can sign up and take that class at the university, whether it's in person or where they'll have to commute and work through their schedule to make that happen. So, like I said, there's a lot of scenarios when it comes even for the payment, and then there's quite a few requirements. They have to have any prerequisites. There has to be room within the classes. There's a lot of different variables that come into play, but more great options for our students. Start College Now is very similar to the Early College Credit Program, but it's for technical schools. And same concept. If we have comparables, they have to take our in-house before they would be able to take those comparables. There's applications that they have to complete, just like the Early College Credit. This one, though, the district is responsible for paying. So if they do qualify to take those classes, then our district pays for that. One of the probably most popular ones is with our health and career pathway, is the medical terminologies class. That's a class that's been taken for many years by many students, and it allows them to get that class as an elective for us for our high school credits, but also for those who might be going into the medical field down the road. It's also a program which we have students who get the certification of an EMT or a CNA. So those are just some great ways for students to have, to be career ready when they graduate high school. And then last is our work-based learning, and that is, again, something we've had for a long time, and it's a program that we work closely with our community businesses to provide different apprenticeships and work co-ops for our students. This year we have 11 students, and they are a few different places, so Black Pig in Sheboygan in the restaurant industry. We have Springdale Farms, Helmer Dairy Farms, A.B. Lane Farms, HUI, the Waterford, Harvest Home, and Rohde Brothers. So we have, you know, again, some great relationships where our students are able to get hands-on experience and prepare them for that career and college or technical college readiness. I shared a lot of different things. Do you have any questions at all?
Just for, just to clarify, on the comparables, when you were talking, a student comes to us, wants to know about a class, and we look for those comparable classes. Now, are those comparable classes automatically credit generating for the college or not?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so by comparable, it is comparable in that they could get college credit as well.
Correct.
For that class, if they take our class versus the alternative.
Yes.
Okay, great. And the apprenticeship program, all the work-based learning program, if a company is out there and they're interested in participating in those programs, who do they contact? And
They can contact us, and we can get them connected with LTC, who is for youth apprenticeships.
Yep.
LTC is this area's hub
Okay.
for make those things happen. And if you've got new ideas out there for youth apprenticeships in a different field that maybe doesn't or hasn't had youth apprenticeships in the past, you can contact LTC or us, and we will help you get in contact with those people to create a new one. They're building new pathways and youth apprentice pathways all the time.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm surprised more students do not take advantage of this. You know, I mean, especially if they plan on going to a technical college and going into the workforce.
I think this year we saw a little decrease in numbers because of COVID and the unpredictability of, you know, will we be in school, won't we be in school? So I think that has really shaved off some of our numbers because usually they're pretty healthy.
Right, usually we have as many or more than any other school district in the county. It's just a lot of workplaces also weren't participating either.
Right,
So it was kind of a two-way street that got in the way of a lot of kids' opportunities.
Well, so the guidance counselors have a great deal, a lot of providing guidance to the students on what is available because, you know, as a parent and a student, you know, when do you start looking at this sort of a career/college path? Is that sophomore year?
Right away, even in your freshman year. So the ECCP, that is 9th through 12th grade. The Start College Now is 12th, 11th, and 12th. So they're all a little different, but they really work, they try to work hard during, it's slipping my mind.
The pep talks?
The pep talks. When they work, my daughters just had their pep talks. When they have those pep talks, they really try to work with the students specifically on like where their career paths are, like what are they interested in. But definitely, you know, it's important to work with your counselor and talk to them and see that. And really all of this information especially is in that ACP guide, right on the website that you can pull up. You can see these different career pathways. You can look at each of the different subject areas and see what classes are available. There's a lot there, but yeah, definitely, you know, for parents, we always highly suggest for them to come into those pep talks because they do share a lot of valuable information on the different options that are there for students. And they try to cater it, you know, to specifically individual students.
Any other questions for Tina?
I wonder if this is something that the district can go out and talk to the businesses. You know, all three of you guys are in a business where you could, you know, draw students in to shadow you and work alongside you. And then to you know, how many businesses do not know about this?
Sure. Inspire Sheboygan County is a really great program that's county-based, and this is their big push, is they work with companies and they try to provide those opportunities throughout the county for all of our students and schools. So that's another option for businesses, but I definitely think, especially as restrictions are starting to go down, I think people are really excited to start building relationships and creating those.
Yeah, Sally, to your point, my company, we've participated in the youth apprenticeship program for, I don't know, 3 years now, 4 years, and yeah, it's a great program. In fact, this past year, we had 2 interns in our program, so yeah, it's very effective. But we get kids from all over the county that apply to sit in our chair, if you will,
Okay.
so it's a great program.
That's all through Inspire?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what we do as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Dan, did you have a question?
I was just wondering, when do the pep talks happen and how frequent are they?
So they happen at, now you're testing my knowledge. The ninth graders I know are just having them, and they do them in small groups during their advisory times or at different times throughout the day. So they meet with the kids, they go through, but we actually start in 3rd grade in the district with pep talks. They typically in 3rd grade start for that February time conferences, and the counselors will go through, and it's just starting to initiate their interests and their pathways of where they could go. And then through middle school, they have them on a regular basis. I know 8th grade is definitely a time where you go in, and that's where they meet and they talk about the scheduling and the different high school options and pathways that you can take there. But I can definitely share more of that information. They do a great job. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into it, and their goals are really to help lay that pathway out for students.
Every student, well, they'll start, currently the name of the program is Zello. Used to be Wish Careers, then used to be something else, but the current program is Zello, and it's where they do their career or like interest inventories and all of that. And so every kid keeps that throughout their entire time in the district, and it grows and changes over time. And they fill it with things, and we use our advisory time to fill it with things, you know, like you have ideas about your future and those types of ideas. And then that's what they use then ultimately, like to begin scheduling for high school in 8th grade, because they meet in 3rd, they meet in 6th, they meet in 8th, and then every year in the high school. So yeah, when they leave us, they can basically hit a button and apply to whatever their career pathway is going to be, tech school, college, because it's completely filled out, and it is actually linked to many places too, including employment applications as well.
Interesting. Great. Any other questions?
I do have to say that the acronyms and the multitude of different programs are very confusing, and Dina has taken it because a bunch of this all changed about 2 years ago, and Dina has done a wonderful job demanding that we organize this and get it in a way that makes sense.
These programs and all of the different eligibility credits earned. So we have, it's quite a few pages. It gets a little complex, but we're trying to simplify it so that it is a little bit easier. And for me, it was a learning curve, just learning and understanding all these different pathways and how it works. So.
And so you're doing a great job with it, and the counselors will be able to explain this more easily to parents and using these tools.
Right. Something like this kind of gives you guidance on the options and where do the options start from? You know, the pep talks and when do those start? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gives you categories to even just ask a question.
Yeah.
Right.
But without this, you wouldn't even know where to begin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is really nice. Nice way to organize it. All right. So let's move on. Item 8 on our agenda: education, COVID update and revisions. consider and possibly vote to approve revisions to our COVID education plan.
Yes, we've been doing these all along throughout the course of the year. The chance to give you an update on where we are with numbers and quarantines and all of those things, but also talk about upcoming plan changes perhaps as we're moving through the year. We don't have any changes to announce or to ask about or discuss this evening, but I'll just give you some numbers. We did have one 4K class that had to quarantine. We had one positive case this last week. We still have no staff that are positive. Our numbers are just in general very low at this time, so that's a good thing. Then going through the buildings about what they're currently working on related to our programming in COVID, in the world of COVID. The Plymouth High School has been having some in-person meetings. I'll talk about them a little bit later when we talk about the staff and student accomplishments. In the middle school is as well, things like our musical that just happened at the middle school, all socially distanced and following CDC guidelines, but still getting a chance to have a few spectators. So that's great. And then the links that people can actually watch at their home if they chose. Things at the high school, they're intending and still working on an outdoor socially distanced prom, which is scheduled for the 1st of May. Graduation will, as long as everything holds steady, will be in person, leaning a little bit at this point towards the high school football stadium, just because of the arrangements of sound and spacing, but with having people there, family members there as well, and working through that as with parents and student groups helping lead the way. Summer school, we are going to be doing summer school, as I mentioned in the committee of the whole, and we'll be adding a COVID catch-up portion, which will be aligning teachers and students in small groups to focus on specific areas of need in learning for the upcoming school year. So that is underway, and we're connecting right now families and students and teachers. And they're working on getting those together. Thinking about next year, it looks like this pandemic could be still with us at the time that we start next year. If anybody's seen the maps of rates, we're kind of, Wisconsin's an island in the middle of a lot of cases right now. Hopefully we can stay that way. So we're beginning our planning for next year with the eye towards making sure that we can manage through it like we did this year as well. So we're looking at things like our start times in the not start times, but the way we start school in the elementary. Because of COVID, we come to school now and we go right into our classrooms and we don't congregate on the playground. We don't leave all at once and congregate on the playground. We do those in pods so that we can, if there happens to be a case, we know who those people are and can handle that a little bit better. So those types of things, scheduling for how we do our recesses and lunches and all of that will probably still be a thing next year, just in order so we can manage through the pandemic as it's still moving forward next year at the start of the school year. Same thing with the high school, looking at possible timings of passing periods and how we get into and out of school by full grades and other getting on the buses and those types of things. Still looking at having that as a plan for the beginning of next year, and they're working on that schedule as well. They're looking at, in order for mitigation, potentially continuing with our every other day, periods 1 through 4 one day, 5 through 8 the next. Those types of things they're working on. They will be having a parent meeting about the potential of that schedule for next year, I believe on Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday night there'll be a virtual meeting, and I'm going to check on the time quickly.
And they've been working with student groups as well, and as teacher groups for that.
6 o'clock virtually. We'll be presenting and then having plenty of time for parents to ask questions.
And as we move forward, I have a shout out later to our school nurses, but they continue to be rock stars through this entire thing and keeping us moving forward. Among all the other duties, this has been a real increase to the amount of time that they've spent working outside of the hours of the typical day and on weekends, trying to make sure that we know who can be in class and who can't be in class on any given day, so that we can keep the entire school in person, which we are right now. So we're doing well, we're managing forward, and we're looking with an eye towards the future now about being prepared for whatever COVID throws at us at the beginning of next school year.
That's great.
Any questions?
Excellent.
Anything else, Dina? Okay.
Wonderful. Everyone appreciates the hard work, so it's great to see everything stay open.
As we see more vaccines, more immunizations, more widespread numbers, what percentage are we looking for till the public can go back to normal from a school district perspective?
I can't answer that. We just, every week, we have a meeting with our local health department, and they're giving us guidance. Our nurses are in with those groups, and so I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know what a percentage would be. We're listening to what guidance they're giving us.
The common response has always been we follow the CDC guidelines, right?
It's about
our experts in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering from a parent's perspective, is the questions as we see more immunizations, is there going to be a time where, when are we going to go back to normal? I mean, CDC has been given some guidance that talks about if you're with a bunch of other vaccinated people, you can kind of be in a smaller room and indoors with no mask. I don't know.
I think the best we can all do is just encourage people to get vaccinated, because the more people we can get vaccinated, the greater the chance we'll get back to some sort of normal. But now I've heard some of the vaccines are starting to talk about 3 shots. So
I think that if you call the county health department and ask them, hey, what numbers are you guys looking at for us to get back to the way we were? And see if they even know,
I don't think anyone has that answer.
I don't know.
I think
Good
all
question.
we can do is encourage people that we just have to keep doing the right behaviors now, because that is our best chance of getting to a back to normal scenario. So,
Do the principals start doing some video recording messages, trying to prepare parents of what the next year is going to look like? I'm sure there's some anticipation, just like there was last year.
Yeah, they definitely will be doing that.
cool. All right. Anything else on that topic? If not, we'll move to item number 9, Finance, Buildings and Grounds, budget update from Amy Willing.
Yes, thank you. Our budget is in a very good position considering how far we are along in the school year. My projections at this time show that the deficit that we entered the school year with will be covered. And just to keep in mind, that deficit consisted of our projects at Horizon, the windows at Horizon and the pool boiler, and then another $250,000 just operating deficit. There's 3 areas that we budgeted high in that we've found we just haven't had to expense all of those dollars. The custodian area, food service, and substitute teachers. And that would be the 3 main areas that we did. A lot of the savings are due to our managers and directors being very creative with scheduling and ways to cover classrooms and ways to get all of the buildings cleaned. Our food service is probably going to be in a pretty healthy spot. I anticipated having to help cover some of the food service expenses, but I don't think that we're going to have to. So right now, it appears that that deficit will be covered and that we may end the year with some additional funds. Hopefully, I mean, within the next month, we'll have a very good idea of where we will be.
I'm curious by food service maybe being in the black. What can you account for that? Is there more revenue coming in?
Well, we have made efforts, you know, to help clear up some of the balances that we have. But I think the majority of it is the free lunches offered this year. We receive, you know, a higher reimbursement for a free lunch than we do a normal lunch. So that's going to have a big impact on it.
And that free lunch is federal program? Or
Right,
state?
right. So, any other questions?
For Amy? Moving on, gifts and corresponding with budget adjustments.
Okay. Again, we always have a few of those that our generous community donates to us, and we're very, very grateful. So this month, we would like to accept a donation of $454.37 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Riverview Middle School 8th grade yoga accessories. We would like to accept a $445.28 donation from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Horizon Elementary School STEM program. Another donation of $360.04 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Horizon Elementary School Easy Being Green program. Sounds like a fun one. A donation of $416.25 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Parkview Elementary School Renewable Energy Kit. And a donation of $1,410.87 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Riverview Middle School for Books for All program. And then all the corresponding adjustments to the accounts for that as well. We need to approve those.
So I need a motion to approve the donations and corresponding adjustments.
So moved.
Second?
Yes, I'll second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Thank you again to everyone who donated. All right, and I've lost my place.
Number 10.
10, policy, consider approval, second reading of the Neola policy updates, volume 3rd, section 1. This is...
We just need to make a motion to approve the second reading.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Period of public recognition. All right, moving on, we'll go to the liaison reports, community ed, Sally.
Yes, they have coming up this summer, during the summer school timetable, Squiggles and Wiggles, and this is for preschool kids. So look that over. We also have a lot of fitness classes available, aquatic classes, and also lap swim. And we still have the walking indoors at this point. So go on to community ed and look at what they have to offer besides other things and see what you'd like to join up and sign up for. That's all.
Great, thank you, Kathy. All right, so, foundation, that's me. Well, We just read all of these donations from Plymouth Education Foundation, just for some additional clarity. Most of those were under what we call the mini grant program. There was one larger grant, but mini grants are anything $500 and less. We've had a lot of nice activity, a lot of very interesting applications, and it's great to see these ideas come to life. So that's the work of the foundation. The other piece of the foundation is scholarships. They're preparing and evaluating scholarships now for the May presentation. And again, the foundation does some great work. So if you have some spare change, please send it to the foundation. It will be well spent. And having said that, let's move on to the great work of the Family Resource Center. Dan.
Thank you. Under the Parents as Teachers program, we have a bunch of virtual group connection offerings. They're at no cost. In March, we had the virtual scavenger hunt. It was a great hit. That'll be a recurring thing. In April, we'll have Let's Dance. In May, we have Ready, Set, Grow. June, we have Dad and Me Treasure Hunt. In July, we have Buggy Stand. Literacy Council program update. We are currently having 39 learning pairs that are working on. They're doing it virtually currently, but are also looking at what it's going to take to do face-to-face as we progress. The workplace literacy program is continuing to grow. We're moving into some different business units in the Sheboygan County area. Basically, a program is designed to go into workplaces and help teach a second language, primarily English language. And we're also partnering with the Sheboygan County Economic Development Council, partnering with more industries that are looking for the assistance. As a third note, we are looking for one more board member. We are one board member short, so if you're interested in that opportunity for the Family Resource Center, you can certainly reach out to me. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. And CSIS 7, your board will appoint a CSIS 7 delegate for the 2021-22 school year.
Right, that was going to be Kathy Turner.
So that's going to be Kathy, who's over there. Hi, Kathy, remote. So, do we need anything more than to?
And as long as she accepts it, and she's willing to.
So she's shaking her head yes. So we're good. Thank you, Kathy. All right, moving on, personnel.
All right, we have quite a bit of, this is the time of the year. We got a little bit of an earlier jump on things, so we have a lot of personnel notes to go here. So we have a number of retirements. So I'll go through the retirements and resignations first, if that's okay, and we can just make one motion then for accepting all of those. And then we'll go to some of the new hires, and then ultimately the support staff. So a lot of years of service to be recognized here. So we'll begin. The board will consider the approval of the retirement from Jason Sabronic, band teacher, Plymouth High School, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Jason has been with the school district for 28 years. The board will consider the approval of the retirement request from Tina Hendrickson, science teacher at Plymouth High School, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Tina has been with the school district for 26 years. The board will consider the approval of the retirement request from Julie Overby, 8th grade teacher, Riverview Middle School, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Julie has been with the district for 20 years. The board will consider the approval of the retirement request from Lisa Thiel, special education teacher, Parkview Elementary, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Lisa's been with the school district for 22 years. The board will consider the resignation from Colleen Schultz, English theater teacher at Plymouth High School, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Colleen's been with the district for 2 years. And the board will consider the resignation from Katie Walsh, kindergarten teacher at Parkview Elementary School, effective at the end of the 2021 school year. Katie's been with the school district for 9 years. Those are the retirements and resignations. We could move to approve those.
I make a motion that we approve all these retirements, and thank you very, very much for all those that served.
Second?
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Yes, and I will second Sally's comment as well. Thank you very much for the service. Some great people, and wow, what a lot of service they've given us. We really appreciate it. All right.
Moving along to the new people. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Jackie Hickman to teach math at Plymouth High School beginning the 21-22 school year. Jackie received her bachelor's degree from St. Norbert's College. This will be her 9th year of teaching. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Jackie Janik to teach Spanish education at Fairview Elementary School beginning special ed education. Holy moly. How did I turn special education into Spanish? I did bring them, but I'm still fighting it.
Just give it up.
So special education at Fairview Elementary School beginning in the 2021-22 school year. Jackie received her bachelor's and master's degree from Marian University. This will be her first year of teaching. Consider the approval of the tentative agreement reached between the district and the Plymouth Education Association on total base wages for 21-22 school year. All those are the new items.
And do we need motion to
Yes.
accept those?
Mhm.
No. So we need a motion on that.
Let's do G and H first. Like, just make that one motion first, the G and H,
Sure.
those
J
two
and
contracts.
H. Okay, those two contracts.
Mhm.
So we need a motion to approve the two contracts.
Mhm.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
And another one for I.
And for I, we need a motion for the tentative agreement between the district. Tentative agreement reached with the district and the association, total base wage for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved. Second?
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
And I do have one support staff update, I believe. Let's get back here, in the background. Yes, in the support staff area, we have Kenna Gilhuber has submitted her resignation as a custodian at Fairview Elementary School. Kenna has been with the school district for 1 year, and no action is required.
Thank you. Items for consent agenda, no. President report, that's me tonight. Wow, how nice. So I guess the bit of news, we do have a resignation that was tendered to the school board. One of the school board members is going to resign from group area B. So we will have to consider that resignation and filling that position until the next election cycle. So as you think about that, and as a community, if anyone would like to consider being on this board, there's always that question of, well, how am I qualified? Or what makes me qualified? And I think for any of us to think about who should sit on this board or who would we like to have on this board, the first place I think we look to is our pillars. The pillars are the strategic framework that really guide us forward, and it really shows what we value and find important. So, to recap, academics, we're looking for world-class academics. So anyone on this board should be someone that supports how we go about that. Our financial pillar, it's about funding this district in a responsible way, which means making decisions that have a long-term outlook, not just a short term. So looking at the pillars, looking at what we need to fund, and making sure that we create an organization financially that is prepared for the generations in the future. So, someone with that kind of fiscal outlook that's not looking at the short term but the long term. Extracurricular activities, someone who believes in the value that our school, beyond the school classroom, we bring value to the community, to our students, by offering them new opportunities in the arts, in sports, in special interest areas, and understanding that that value is very, very important to their health, well-being, and really for a vibrant community. And then finally, community engagement. We need people on this board that value our relationship with the community and the impact that this district can bring to the community. So if you know of someone that has those passions, we definitely would like to have them join us on this board. So if you're interested, please contact one of the school board members or the district office and let us know of your interest. And there's an application process, and then we as a board will consider the applicants to see who best fits into our team, if you will. So that's my message.
So for people to understand that Area B is outside of the city limits.
Yeah,
So
thank you for
anybody
that
that lives outside of the city limits is able to apply for the seat that is vacant on the school board.
Yes, that's right. So outside the city limits.
And when's the deadline for them to apply?
Katrina has a timeline you can share.
I'm sorry, I didn't bring it with me, but it will be posted in the newspaper and on our district website.
I think it's the 6th, right?
I believe May 18th. Did we want to make the decision?
Yeah.
Or bring them to the board to interview?
Right.
So to bring them to the committee of the whole meeting?
I think that's the regular meeting.
Regular meeting?
I can't remember.
Well, the regular meeting is on the 10th. And then the 18th is the regular board meeting. So the 10th is the committee of the whole, and then the 18th, and then, I'm sorry, I have the timeline written out. I'm sorry, I should have brought it along. But I will be posted on our website, and it will be posted in the newspaper as well for a vacant position.
So
I
it
know
probably
that the
looks
new-
like.
The new
so-
school board member would take seat in June.
So that'd be the target, to take their seat in June. Okay.
So they need to have their application in before the 10th of May.
Right.
I'm not sure, it's really not as daunting as an application, is it?
It is
Well,
not.
I have forms
do
that
have
they can
forms.
just fill out, just a little bit about themselves. It's
Just
just kind of more of
background
like a
information.
fun application, just like, what are your hobbies, like a little bit about your education.
Great.
Why do you want to be on the board?
That's it. All right. So that's the president's message, and we'll move on to superintendent report.
Yes, so we will start with A on the list. There are student and staff accomplishments. We have a lot of cool things to talk about, so I'll jump right into those. At Riverview, we were so happy that we were able to have a musical with some socially distanced spectators and kids performing a wonderful performance. And so it's got a message from Ann Lambert, a parent in the community. Hello, wow, what a great performance. I want to thank you for supporting the arts in the middle school. We were honored to be part of the musicals the last few years. Thank you, ladies. The ladies are Rachel Simnick and Sarah Stout, who were helping get those musicals going. The kids did a wonderful job, and we were very impressed and had a great time. So congratulations. And if you want to buy a link, you can still buy a link, I believe, right? And you can watch the musical at home at your convenience. So it's really great. It's fun, right?
It was an amazing performance. It's Schoolhouse Rock, and
Okay, I was gonna
it's
ask,
sort
what
of,
is the musical?
if you were, growing up in the 70s and 80s, so I remember that. But the kids, the talent is amazing, and you could tell how much fun they were having. It was great.
Well, that's great.
So I just mentioned earlier about our nurses working so hard and making things happen for us this year, and we have relied on them like never before for information and for guidance. So then even during this unique school year, the nurses are still completing all the normal hearing and vision screenings. We finished vision screenings in the winter. We screened 516 students and referred 46 for eye care. And they returned with either glasses or updated prescriptions. And this week we started hearing screenings in all of the 4K students and other students that were by teacher referral. So I know we focus so much on just COVID types of things, and we're talking about the work that we're doing, but we have our dental groups coming in now, and so we're offering catching up from some long overdue dental work at no charge here in our buildings, and our nurses are doing a great job of doing the vision screenings and the hearing screenings. So congratulations to them and thank you to them, and the secretaries at the buildings who kind of organize all this stuff and make it happen too. So wonderful. At the high school, some big news recently. The FBLA, so that is the Future Business Leaders of America chapter, qualified 44 students in 24 different events for the Virtual Leadership Conference. 26 students in 11 events from PHS were recognized at the Awards of Excellence program. That program has really grown as of late, and we've got a lot of kids involved in it. Maggie Munson became only the second PHS student in more than 20 years to be honored by the NHS Scholarship as a winner of the NHS Scholarship. So congratulations to Maggie. The forensics team has been competing in virtual competitions. Many students have won individual accolades and awards throughout the season. So it's not quite the same, but they're still having an opportunity. The following math team members placed as all-state team members for the Class A in our recent competition and held by the Wisconsin Mathematics Council. Matt Sheridan was first team all-state. Ryan Krause was second team all-state. Nick Scherzel was second team all-state. And Jacob Grutner was second team all-state. So fantastic. All in the timing, the May play is in rehearsals, and so the performances will actually have families and friends at this one, so that's wonderful. Socially distanced, of course, May 13th through the 16th. And then there will be a virtual option as well for people to see it. The Plymouth High School Choir recently released a music video featuring Tomorrow by Minor, with accompaniment by a local band, the Honey Goats. So I know I've seen it on the webpage. It's there. You can see it also in the lobby. It's on the big screen TV. If you want to see it, you can check it out at your convenience. So there were a lot of accomplishments, and there are. The 180 Breakfast, sponsored by Johnsonville, just occurred this past week. There were 31 students who were nominated in multiple different grades, and so the 180 Breakfast is a partnership program that with Johnsonville and our school, our high school, looking at students who turned it around. They did a 180, and not just in grades, but usually the grades come along with it, but in effort and attitude and persistence and grit and all of those things. And so teachers can nominate the students, and the students then get an award. They get a swag bag from Johnsonville. They get a wonderful breakfast. And so we had 31 kids nominated, and there are some wonderful tear-jerking stories if you want to see them. They're just a great effort by the students, and thank you to Johnsonville, and thanks for the partnership. We had the academic banquet sponsored by Lions Club this past week, and we had 22 students who had kept a 3.85 grade average for for every semester of their school career. Those students were honored at that banquet. So, and they got a chance at that one, talking about paying it forward, to bring an honored guest, to talk about somebody who influenced them and helped them achieve what they've achieved. And so that's always a great event as well. So those are some wonderful accomplishments, both from the students and staff. And just a district update of my presentation is, let's not let our guard down. At this point, I was looking at the state of the world in terms of COVID, and it was one of those map diagrams, and everybody around us is bright red, and we're still sitting there in pale yellow in Wisconsin. So those new variants and whatever's going on, there are increasing cases and hospitalizations right around us, and so let's please be vigilant together. We've done a great job as a community, and families and kids and staff, everybody has come together to allow us to have our kids in school all year for the most part, and we haven't had to quarantine half of an entire school for 3 and 4 and 5 weeks at a time. And that's because of us working together. So the more we can do to stay vigilant and try to get through this. Everybody's sick and tired of all of it, wearing masks and not seeing each other and whatever. But if we can just stick it through a little bit longer, we have the opportunity to make it through the end of the year and have these ceremonies and graduations and maybe a more normal start to the beginning of the next school year, hopefully. So we'll plan for contingencies, but if we stick it together and keep our guard up, maybe we've got a better chance for more of a normal kickoff. So that's what I'm hoping for. Those are my remarks.
Thank you.
Dan, can I just I found that what I had written up.
Okay.
So for an application for appointment to fill a school board vacancy, that needs to be filed with me or in our district office on or before 4 p.m. on Monday, May 31st. So you can pick up that form in our district office, and then candidates will be expected to interview with the board at the 5:30 Monday, June 7th committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. That's great. All right, item number 17, the board will vote to convene into closed session for Wisconsin statutes 118.22 and 19.851, section C of the Wisconsin statutes to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of a public employee, teacher contracts and administrative contracts, and approve the minutes from the January 11th, 2021 closed session meeting. And roll call vote.
Dan?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Sally? Yes.
All right. We're in closed session.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Take that one out.
Can we take a 5-minute break and we will remove the rest of the microphones and cameras?
Sure.
Sure.